Tony D and Little Joan and guest dog Truffle. And you can see Little Joan back there. Truffle's so big by comparison. This is a screenwriter's rant on Bonhoeffer. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Um, a interesting figure, and interesting. This movie was made by Angel Studios, the same people who made The Sound of Freedom. Smash a like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 13. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So, I had to look up Bonhoeffer because I had never heard of him. But this is another part of the war that doesn't get a lot of attention because he was a religious guy, a Lutheran pastor who led, I shouldn't say a resistance, but I guess it was somewhat a resistance to the regime of that war. I think you can tell from the pictures. I don't want to say on YouTube, but I think because he's religious, it probably didn't get the attention it deserved. So he spoke out against the bad guy from Germany. And I won't give away the ending because I just read it on Wikipedia, but it's a pretty crazy story. It's amazing he lasted as long as he did within the regime, I would say. So, again, there are a ton of movies about this era. They're just seemingly endless. But this is new ground, at least it is to me. I don't remember this guy at all. Now, I had read for the anti-war comic, and I had wrote about, so maybe I'll do one on him, about the yellow rose, or the white rose, I forget. I think it was the white rose. The white rose was an anti-war group in Germany, and at that time, and they were executed by guillotine. Um, yeah, this, to speak out, this is real protest. This is a real risk here. So, it looks like an interesting movie. I don't know how much, again, it's tough, the appeal. Like back in the 70s and 80s, there were still people alive from that era. The next generation certainly would have grown up hearing about it. Like my era heard about it. We hadn't grown up with it. We heard about it. You know, that people my grandparents' age would have been more involved. But it's, it's something that Hollywood does a lot. And there are far too many movies, you would think. But this is, I think, some new ground. I haven't seen... this is the only movie I know of that specifically focuses on this figure in history. And read the Wikipedia entry. It's kind of interesting that, what happened, and you could see the drama in that. And that it's made by Angel Studios. They're not going to back off from the religious angle of this. It's going to be theological. It's going to be this guy trying to argue from a theological perspective. You can't do this. You can't run a country this way. You can't make the world this way. Not that the government would be any more sympathetic, but it was a different era. People were a little more religious. Pretty interesting. So it's going to be the rise and fall, essentially. First act, probably pre-war. Sets up who he was. Where he was in that era before the war. Then the war breaks out. He could see it sort of coming. It's not good. He speaks out. Other people are being arrested, dying. Maybe he gets a little more leeway because he's a religious figure. But the war continues. The big moment, I think, is he's caught up in the plot to assassinate the bad guy from Germany and is arrested like so many others. Did he? I'm not sure. That wasn't very clear in the Wikipedia entry. I don't really trust Wikipedia all that much, but it's usually not wrong on those scores. But maybe he was. I don't know. But then he was a religious guy, so maybe he would have had a problem with that too. Um, and then his eventual fate, and then, in movies like this, you'll get the crawl at the end, like the fallout from that and what really happened, real pictures of the real guy, and all that sort of thing. So there's a write up here. Berlin during the bad times, and I only edit myself because of YouTube. Examining Bonhoeffer's determination to live life with uncompromising political and spiritual courage while speaking truth to power in his attempt to save countless Jewish lives. So, yeah, good for him. So, this is a figure from history that deserves some coverage, like Schindler. So, yeah, I think I heard the name, but I don't remember any movies about him. You know, possibly because he was German. So and a lot of people think, oh well, all the German people were involved. No, a lot of people they were just living their lives and suddenly looked up and got, oh my God, what are you people doing? I didn't vote for this. Um, so anyhow, yeah, I think if you like these kinds of war dramas from this era, this could be decent. At least for me, I'd be interested in seeing it because again, I don't really know too much about it. I would hope Angel Studios would be fairly accurate, although I guess they would be a little bit more inclined to give the religious guy more credence because they kind of religious. So, but I'd be interested in seeing it. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan, and Guest Dog. I know you're so jealous. These dogs are so jealous of each other. It's a constant competition. Here, you go over there. Go back on the seat. Go ahead. Here you go. All right, guys, you got to get along. Got to get along. Okay? Anyhow, we'll be back with more videos and more dogs. We'll see you in the next one.